applause for Pelé. Anthony, the Brazilian international in the Manchester United team, actually lifted his white United shirt to reveal another white t-shirt beneath with a scribbled message in Portuguese to the great Pelé. I mentioned a little earlier that he only ever played 9 games on English soil, 1 in Scotland, the last of those nearly 50 years ago, March 1973, but Pelé was a name we all knew, and his talent was a talent we've all revered. Very sad. So a year that began with a Wolverhampton Wanderers victory over Manchester United. Bruno Lage's team beating Ralph Rangnick's side at Old Trafford on January the 3rd. Remember them? 4 chancellors, 3 prime ministers and 2 monarchs on. Wolves and Manchester United meet again on the final day of 2022. Manchester United in a change strip of all white. Wolverhampton Wanderers in their familiar old gold and black. And Manchester United playing from left to right as we look on from the main stand, the Billy Wright stand here at Molineux, which Stuart Pearce graced many times as a player. What are your finest memories of this wonderful old ground?
Well, I come here as a supporter. I remember being here as a Leeds fan, as a youngster back in the 70s, and saw a few games here. Scored a couple of goals here in the League Cup as well over time. I really like Wolves. I think it's a great football club. Fan base is brilliant. I really enjoy coming back here, Clive, I've got to say.
Chested down by Collins, brings the ball forward to the halfway line and runs into the considerable figure of Casemiro, who he fouled, having just lost control of the ball briefly. Nathan Collins, a little anxious to try to retrieve it, and he caught Casemiro with studs on the top of his foot. Free kick. Taken short to Eriksson, halfway line, given away very loosely by Christian Eriksen. Hwang tried to benefit. Wolves retaining possession despite some Manchester United pressure on the ball, and Mateus Nunes rolls it out to the left-hand side, and Hugo Bueno just inside his own half comes back to Max Kilman. And a first touch for the Wolverhampton Wanderers goalkeeper in all lilac today, Jose Sa. Lofted out to the right-hand side for Semedo to make progress over the halfway line. Runs through a challenge from Malacia, holds off Garnacho, and then Malacia managed to recover, but only at the expense of a free kick to Wolverhampton Wanderers, about 20 metres outside the penalty area, right of centre.
I think it'd be really important that both full-backs for Wolverhampton, Semedo and Bueno, get forward and ask questions. Malacia and we've got Garnacho and Anthony. Ask the question, are you prepared to track me back, or do you just want to play up the pitch?
Free kick which Ruben Neves will take. So about 25 paces maybe outside the penalty area. It's a crossing position rather than a shooting opportunity, even for Neves. Both of the centre-backs have come forward, and Wolves look a taller team than Manchester United as Moutinho lofts it into the penalty area, a pre-rehearsed free kick which didn't begin to come off, and Manchester United have a goal kick. Julian Lopetegui's first Premier League game here at Molineux. He's on the touchline in a brown roll-neck sweater and blue rainwear. And just for the record, Lopetegui and Ten Hag are 2 of 55 new permanent managers appointed in the year. 55 new managers in England's top 4 divisions during 2022, and it's only lunchtime. And maybe permanent isn't quite the right word. That's some turnover, isn't it?
It certainly is. This is the nature of the game. As I say, we spoke before the game about managers wanting to come and play in this league, but that is the jeopardy of playing in this league, you know, your long-term future.
Rafael Varane in orange boots, running it square to his central defensive teammate Luke Shaw. Played out to Malacia on the left-hand side. Manchester United essentially 4-3-3, with Bruno Fernandes playing to the right and Christian Eriksen to the left of the holding Casemiro. Malacia with a diagonal picks out Anthony very accurately midway through the Wolves half of the field, looking to run at the left back, who gets some protection from Podence, and Anthony gives it away to Matez Nunes, played poorly by Neves and seized upon by Anthony Martial on the edge of the penalty area. Rather tentative blind pass by Ruben Neves. Anthony has it and has lost it to Moutinho. Martial gets it back. Casemiro turned by Anthony. It's inside the Wolves penalty area. Rather clumsy challenge by Neves, who leapt at Martial and has conceded a corner kick. Rather strangely nervous start by Ruben Neves.
Yeah, I think very nervous in all that phase of play we've just seen. I think Anthony give it away on about 3 occasions there with poor passes, and then decided to tell everyone else around him what they should be doing better.
Corner kick to Manchester United on their right hand side. Christian Eriksen will take it. Luke Shaw is certainly playing the role of centre back. He's come forward for the corner. Eriksen takes it into the near post. Casemiro with a header, and it's just deflected over the crossbar, came off a Wolves head, but Casemiro was running free there and was denied only by the defender.
Well, it was a fantastic work goal in the week against Forest to open the scoring, with a movement from the back post by Rashford into the near post, and a similar type of movement there from Casemiro.
Came off the chest of Matez Nunes and scored it over the crossbar. Another corner kick, right hand side. Eriksen longer this time, headed away by Costa and volleyed very optimistically by Garnacho, and that one's still rising way over the crossbar. Goal kick to Wolverhampton Wanderers. Manchester United fresh from their biggest win of this Premier League season on Tuesday night, 3-0 against Nottingham Forest. Erik ten Hag wants yet more goals, 23 in 15 games so far. Manchester City have scored 43, Arsenal 36. That's how you win games, by scoring goals. And Manchester United very much still a work in progress, need more goals to further their Champions League claims. Aaron Wan-Bissaka has the ball over the halfway line forward to Anthony. Back to Wan-Bissaka again. He's challenged and dispossessed momentarily by Moutinho, but it runs for Anthony into Bruno Fernandes. Wan-Bissaka, sharp passes. Kilman has to intervene, and Manchester United have a corner kick down by the corner, a throw-in, down by the corner flag on the right-hand side. Wan-Bissaka takes it short to Bruno Fernandes. Anthony can't retain possession, but comes back to Casemiro. Eriksen forward. Anthony finds it and loses it again, and Ruben Neves can chip it forward. But it's another poor ball from the Wolverhampton Wanderers midfield player, and Anthony now can run at Wolves. Plays it infield to Bruno Fernandes. He's a bit hit and miss, Anthony.
He gets so excited when he gets the ball. He runs at it really quickly, and all of a sudden he doesn't concentrate on the pass, Clive.
Martial concentrating on a pass floated in towards Bruno Fernandes, who suggests that he wanted it on the ground. It was beyond him and rolls through for a goal kick. But we have two exciting South Americans on the Manchester United flanks, both unknown quantities to a certain degree. Anthony on the right, Garnacho coming in for Rashford on the left-hand side. It'll be interesting to see what kind of invention and flair they add to the Manchester United attacking formula today. We've had nearly 8 minutes of play. We're live on Talksport at Molineux, and it's Wolverhampton Wanderers 0, Manchester United 0. Mateus Nunes is on the ball just outside his own penalty area, plays it back to Max Kilman, guided out to the right hand side where Semedo tiptoes forward, beats it over the halfway line to Hwang. Hwang controls the ball, cuts in field, trying to run away from Luke Shaw, gets a return ball from Podence, which is slightly overhit, and it's smashed away from the edge of his own penalty area by Varane. But it's been quite a lively opening, both teams playing with a certain degree of intent. Mateus Nunes is on the ball for Wolverhampton Wanderers, but Stuart Pearce, it looks as if both teams are going to be front foot.
Yeah, they certainly are. I mean, both teams are looking to build up, and I look at Wolves and how they're set up, and you think, instead of trying to build up slowly, maybe getting Costa just to pull onto Shaw and drop the ball into him, and then just build from there, basically.
They are trying to pass their way forward down the field. They've reached the halfway line where Bueno wins a throw-in from Casemiro. Throw-in which he takes back to Ruben Neves, all the way back to Kilman just outside of his own penalty area, and then square to Nathan Collins and back to Jose Sarr, and Manchester United follow the ball upfield. Martial puts some pressure on Sarr. He chips the ball out to Semedo and then finds Neves. Good skill from him, but again his initial momentum is checked and he goes back to Collins. Kilman forward. Bueno raiding down the left-hand side with some menace. Suddenly edge of the Manchester United penalty area. Bueno's cross is charged down by Varane, and Wolverhampton Wanderers have a corner on the left-hand side.
Yeah, this is Anthony once again, full-back surge forward on the left-hand side. He's got no intention at all of tracking him back. And if I was left back today, or right back for Wolves, I would keep asking the question all the time. I'm going to roar forward and try and entice you to come back with me.
Hugo Bueno, the 20-year-old Spaniard, starting his 7th consecutive Premier League game for Wolves, will take the corner from the left-hand side. Kilman and Collins around about the penalty spot. It's towards Max Kilman. It's headed away by Varane. Retrieved by Moutinho for Neves. Back to Semedo inside the centre circle, but everybody else is ahead of him. He goes square to Moutinho. Assesses the options ahead of him and goes square again out to the left-hand side and Podence. And now the Wolves centre-backs have returned to their stations and they can build with more measure. Collins forward to Hwang. Back to Kilman, 15 paces inside the Manchester United half of the field. Out to Bueno on the left-hand side. Sweeps away from Bruno Fernandes this time. Into Diego Costa, is dispossessed by Eriksen. Casemiro away. Bruno Fernandes caught in possession by Ruben Neves. Just outside the penalty area, Casemiro makes a challenge and wins the ball despite the Wolves' appeals. And Martial can quicken over the halfway line now and feed Garnacho. Manchester United on the counter. Alejandro Garnacho tried to check inside Semedo, who did just enough. Got some good covering support from Matheus Nunes. Wolves win it back and Semedo goes long forward towards Costa, putting pressure on Luke Shaw, who handles that pressure very well, retains possession of the ball and finds Eriksen. Casemiro out to the left-hand side and Malacia rolled into Bruno Fernandes in the heart of the Wolves half. Garnacho back to Malacia again. 10 metres inside the Wolves half, left-hand side. Exchanges passes with Eriksen. Comes square to Varane on the halfway line. Now out to Anthony with a chance to attack Wolves on the Manchester United right. Thinks better of it. Goes back to Varane once more. Manchester United just retaining possession and gathering themselves to switch the point of the direction of the attack and try their luck down the left-hand side. Instead, Eriksen down the right finds Anthony. 10 metres outside the penalty area. Running at Bueno. Played back to Eriksen. Didn't see Costa coming. And Wolves win it back just outside the penalty area. Forward by Neves. Semedo now can accelerate forward. He's all alone. He needs some support. But he's midway through the Manchester United half now. Nelson Semedo. Podence is on the ball, square of him. Diego Costa. Onto Hwang. 10 metres outside the penalty area. Left of centre. Moutinho encouraging Bueno to come forward again down the left-hand side. Back to Moutinho. Now Matheus Nunes, 10 metres inside the Manchester United half. And again, having probed and made some progress, Wolverhampton Wanderers retain possession and come back again. Ruben Neves to Matheus Nunes just inside the Manchester United half. Joao Moutinho shows for the ball and is able to spin and turn, and here comes Bueno down the left-hand side again, and Juan Bissaka in with a trademark sliding challenge.
Yeah, the build-up from Wolves has been reasonably good to get into the mid-band of the pitch, but I think airing maybe the odd diagonal into Costa, building off of Costa would be a better way forward. They've got the ball in wide areas and failed to deliver, Clive.
Semedo is on the ball for Wolverhampton Wanderers. It's 0-0 at Molineux. Costa just outside the penalty area. Out to the right-hand side and Hwang with a crossing opportunity. Dummies to do that and comes back inside. Ruben Neves. Back out to Semedo on the right-hand side. The pass is overhit. Semedo's caught on his heels and the ball is out of play. You're listening to Wolves 0, Manchester United 0 on Talksport with Now Sports. With Now Sports you can stream all the Sky Sports action, including Brighton versus Arsenal, live today for $11.99, no contract. Search Now Sports. An assessment of the opening 40 minutes from Stuart Pearce.
Well, I think United have shown on the option they had on the counter-attack that they will get men forward very quickly and are a threat. So Wolves got to make sure they don't get done on the counter-attack. Also as well, they're two wide players. Don't look as though they want to track the fullback back. We've seen Semedo gallop forward, Bueno get forward on this side as well. That will be real key. They keep having to ask the questions of the wide players, I think.
Wolves were still pushing for a Champions League place in late February this year. They were 6 points behind fourth place United with 2 games in hand on February the 20th. They've won just half a dozen Premier League games since then. They really need goals. No team in this league has scored fewer this season. Only the relegated clubs scored fewer last season. Something had to give. They've failed to score in half their league matches this season, and that has brought about effectively 2 changes of management, with Steve Davis's interim spell between the contributions of Bruno Lage and the new man in charge for a Premier League game for the first time at Molineux today, Julien Lopetegui. The ball is in the hands of his goalkeeper, Jose Sarr. We're just getting a television close-up of Erik ten Hag, who's got a little board on his knee with counters, which he's moving around, almost as if he's controlling the game artificially from the sidelines, just working out the tactical formations. I'm not sure I've seen that before. Podence forward to Mateus Nunes. Instant cross is a dangerous one, but only Diego Costa was inside the Manchester United penalty area, and it was beyond him. Either that or he's playing snakes and ladders. I'm not quite sure.
It's a festive period, my friend, isn't it?
He obviously got it for Christmas. Oh, terrible back pass. Garnacho in, and Sarr made a wonderful challenge, and then Anthony completely bottled out of a challenge. But Nelson Semedo with an awful back pass. Garnacho was suddenly in. Jose Sarr managed to smother the ball, making himself big and keep it out, and then chase the ball out to the edge of the penalty area. And Anthony didn't like the idea of a collision with the Wolves goalkeeper at all.
No, as I say, really poor. Sometimes, certainly in the back line, we're sort of level with at the moment, taking too many chances with the ball. On that occasion, it was an awful back pass. Goalkeeper's done brilliantly, though. He's come off his line, spread his body, and on the secondary as well, he was far too aggressive for Anthony to get involved with him. Applause
around Molineux in recognition of the sad passing of a young supporter, just 12 years of age. Being recognised as in a heartfelt way as Pelé was before the kick-off. Nil-nil at Molineux. Manchester United, who, if you're just joining us, have left Marcus Rashford out of their starting 11 for disciplinary reasons. He is on the bench, and they're coming forward down the right-hand side with Anthony trying to feed Wan-Bissaka. Kilman read it, fed it back down the touchline towards Hugo Bueno, who's conceded the throw-in to Manchester United midway through the Wolves half of the field. Wolves won more points on their travels than they did at Molineux last season. Not a good way to survive in this league. 8 points from 8 home games this season is not enough. 5 goals from those 8 games, nowhere near enough. I think the one silver lining on that big black cloud hanging over Molineux is that they have managed to beat both Nottingham Forest and Southampton here. Garnacho coming forward again. Semedo deals with it more capably this time and wins a free kick. You've got to win points in your league within the league when you're fighting for survival, and in a sense the visit of Manchester United is almost a free shot at the coconut for Wolves today, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very much the case. As I say, those teams that are in and around you, that's why the victory for Wolverhampton at Everton was so vital. They'd be rooted to the bottom of the division if it wasn't for that victory and the confidence that that's given.
They have lost their last 3 home league matches now, though. Diego Costa's just in for a tyre change at the moment. He's changing his boots. We have had a fair amount of rain in the West Midlands, as I'm sure you have wherever you're listening today, unless you're listening in Dubai or somewhere. But certainly the UK has been wet and windy. over the holiday period, and Diego Costa maybe wasn't quite getting the grip that he wanted. Either that was just sharpening his studs for the centre-backs, I don't know. Kilman forward to Mateus Nunes, just inside his own half. Out to Bueno on the left-hand side. On by Mateus Nunes, but picked off by Casemiro. Bruno Fernandes on the halfway line. Good ball forward to Martial, on by Casemiro. Just asked a bit too much of Garnacho, and that's gone through to Jose Sarr again in the Wolverhampton Wanderers goal.
Both teams just feeling each other out at the moment. United are. I think Wolves are probably guilty of anything. It's overplaying, and as I say that, they're dribbling in their own penalty box at the moment. That they've not once gone from back to front to try and drop the ball into to Costa. And I think if you look at Costa and said, where's his strength? It's holding up, getting up against Shaw, and balls in the box. And not once in 20 minutes have they looked to do that.
Lopetegui particularly animated in his technical area, just outside his technical area, of the truth told. But it does appear as if he's encouraging his team to try to play it out through the thirds from the back, which can be perilous but can be productive too. Very much the 21st century way. Luke Shaw is on the ball for Manchester United, 15 metres inside his own half, exchanging passes with Rafa Varane. Eriksen comes deep looking for the ball. Out to Garnacho on that left-hand touchline. Heels on the line. Ventures forward, is held up by Ruben Neves. Comes back to Eriksen. Tries a cross-field ball which bypasses Podence and finds Anthony. A 1-2 between he and Bruno Fernandes. Now forward to Wan-Bissaka. Back to Anthony again. Slips it off to Wan-Bissaka. All at arm's length though this. Varane. Anthony again, midway through the Wolves half. Back to Shaw now on the halfway line. Eriksen comes looking for the ball again. Manchester United seeing plenty of the ball, but Wolverhampton Wanderers keeping them very much at arm's length. They won it back now with Podence. Bueno protecting the ball from Wan-Bissaka. Goes back to Kilman. This time it goes long up the halfway line towards Diego Costa. He's blocked by Luke Shaw. Headed out of play by Varane. Wolves throw in just inside their own half, left-hand side. Podence takes it to Bueno. Again, rather cautiously now, coming back. There's been a rather more circumspect look about Wolves in these opening stages, perhaps. And Sarr's long clearance down the field is beyond Hwang.
I'm interested to see. I love looking at Fernandes and Eriksen's movement. Really intelligent. They'll drop off and ask questions of the opposing midfielders, or in Fernandes's case, he plays just in that band, just in front of the Wolves back line, and asks so many questions of defenders. Do I go in and mark him? Do I not? Do I stay here?
Fernandes with a little layoff to Wan-Bissaka. Anthony spins and comes forward and feeds Wan-Bissaka beyond him. Clearances by Neves, but it's not a very good one. Anthony now inside the Wolves penalty area. Tries a shot which was deflected rather fortuitously off Neves, and although Sarr had to adjust his position, he was able to make a fairly comfortable save. Wolves 0, Manchester United 0 on Talksport with Car Finance 24/7. Search Car Finance 24/7 today. We're just past the midpoint in this first half, the first of two live and exclusive Premier League commentaries here on Talksport today. Manchester City versus Everton to come from 3 o'clock from the Etihad. But here at Molineux, it remains goalless, and we haven't had any more than that one gaping chance which was gifted to Garnacho by Semedo's back pass and produced a very, very good save from Jose Sarr. Throw into Manchester United midway through their own half of the field, which the recalled Aaron Wan-Bissaka will take. Diogo Dalot is currently nursing a hamstring injury, given away by Anthony, and here's Podence forward, and his shot is blocked by Varane. Squirts out to the Manchester United left, where Garnacho can get on the ball. But I think Manchester United will live with Anthony's extravagances in attack, but not in defence. Podence, Diego Costa, Coutinho, terrific challenge by Wan-Bissaka, blocks the shot at source. But that was another moment of danger for the Manchester United defence, and it all came from another wayward pass by Anthony. But this time back within 10 metres of the edge of his own penalty area, and that is perilous. There's Núñez coming forward, having fended off Bruno Fernandes, who holds his face rather ruefully as Mateus Núñez makes a wonderful run. Diogo Costa checks inside, and his shot is weak and straight at David De Gea, but a good couple of minutes for Wolves, Stuart Pearce.
Yeah, they certainly were. Once again, it was that man Anthony that sparked it off again. He probably gives 70% of his passes away, and if you play for the top teams, you can't afford to do that. But certainly they've asked a few questions, got a couple of shots away, but nothing with any power to for De Gea to sort of fear.
He had 65 minutes against Nottingham Forest on Tuesday. He had 35 minutes from the bench against Burnley in the Carabao last week. He was actually missing through injury for 3 or 4 weeks before the World Cup finals, but he was a fixture on the Manchester United right before that, Anthony. Erik ten Hag clearly believes in him. Garnacho on the other flank has just won a free kick from Semedo. He's doing rather better against Semedo than Anthony is against Bueno at the moment. Free kick is 20 metres outside the penalty area of left of centre, and a yellow card for Nelson Semedo. Harsh?
I would say yes, personally.
A bit repetitive, maybe repetitive fouls?
Potentially, as I say, for a standalone foul, I'm not seeing a yellow for that.
Neither is Julian Lopetegui. He's having a right old ding-dong with the fourth official, Thomas Bramall, absolutely furious about that decision, and it just brings some jeopardy into the life of a full-back when you get a yellow card in the first 25 minutes. Yeah,
it certainly does, any time in the game, especially when you're up against two wingers like United have got, two dribblers that can go past you at the drop of a hat.
Well, the outcome of that foul is a free kick which is 12-13 metres outside of the Wolves penalty area, left of centre as Manchester United look at it. Again, I think a crossing position rather than a shooting opportunity for Eriksen or Fernandes, the two standing over the ball. Once more, Luke Shaw has come forward to join Rafa Varane, the two Manchester United centre-backs, edge of the box. It's Eriksen guided in towards Casemiro, one at the far post and volleyed away by Semedo. Bruno Fernandes trying to set himself up for a shot, instead finds Martial, corner of the penalty area, lofted square. Now Fernandes lobbed in towards Casemiro, who knew he was in an offside position and didn't compete for the ball. But Casemiro won the initial ball in the air, and he's quite useful in the air amongst his other qualities, Stuart.
Yeah, he'll offer that threat, and not only the threat in Wolverhampton's box, but defensively as well. I look through United's ranks, and I don't think there's a lot of height and physical presence, so they'll rely on Casemiro and Varane, definitely, for that side of the game.
No, certainly pre-match when the players exchanged handshakes in the usual Premier League ceremonies, Wolves looked a much taller team. Wang putting himself about a little bit, barging into Varane. Shaw is already down after coming together with very innocent looking Diego Costa. He served one suspension already this season, and he jumped into Luke Shaw there. And Julian Lopetegui has praised his enthusiasm. He says that Diego Costa is playing like a child again. It was a very childlike action to headbutt Ben Mee and get sent off against Brentford. But you know when he's on the field, things happen around Diego Costa.
Yeah, they certainly do. He's got a personality on the pitch, that is for sure. I think, looking at Wolves at the moment, I'm not sure they're playing to his real strengths. I really don't. I've not seen him shove the ball into his feet enough, and I'm not sure I've seen him put the ball in the box enough for him to really show his physical prowess.
Wolves 0, Manchester United 0. The latest odds are available from Betfair, the official betting partner of Talksport's Premier League coverage. At this moment, you can get a Wolves win at 7-2, Manchester United to win at 17-10, or back the draw at 11-5. Difficult one to call, those odds from Betfair. You must be 18 or over. And do be aware of begambleaware.org. Pay it a visit for help and advice on how you can best enjoy and manage your gambling. 0-0 at Molineux. Eriksen on the ball for Manchester United. Losing out though. Wolves have been quite competitive in their attempts to win the ball back inside the Manchester United half, but United have ferried it forward to Anthony and Bruno Fernandes, and Martial is in, apart from the fact that Nathan Collins arrive with a very well-timed sliding challenge just as Martial was about to pull the trigger.
I've got to say, United saw it in midweek, and I've seen it again on a couple of occasions. Their counter-attack threat is so good. 1 and 2 touch, turning, playing forward, exploiting space, and that man Fernandes driving into the inside right position, pulling that pass across the face of goal.
And that is the dilemma for Wolves. The more they attack Manchester United, the more prone they become to the break. Ericsson with the corner in towards Casemiro, one in the air by Kilman. Garnacho edge in the penalty area, loses out to Hwang, who leads a counter-attack for Wolverhampton Wanderers, and Podence will now try to accelerate away from Anthony. Checks, comes back in field and looks for Ruben Neves, who was forward. Manchester United have stemmed the initial danger, but it's back with Podence inside the penalty area. Chance for Ruben Neves, and he hits it well, but hits it against Shaw, and it ricochets out for a corner kick towards right-hand side.
Yeah, we've seen a couple of counter-attacks so far in the game, Clive, and on that occasion I don't think Wolves committed enough players forward quickly enough. When United get a sniff of a counter, their sprint distance is fantastic.
Half an hour gone, 0-0. But just signs of the game opening up a little bit. A little bit of thrust and counter-thrust now about the last 5 or 10 minutes. And both teams carrying a threat, particularly on the counter-attack. Corner kick to Wolverhampton Wanderers. It'll be taken from the right-hand side by Daniel Podence. Kilman and Collins are forward. It's in towards the near post. It's a poor one, actually. Hooked away by Bruno Fernandes. Turned back into the box by Ruben Neves. Mateus Nunes charged into Martial. Malacia, I should say, is down on the penalty area. It's a rough old barging challenge. Free kick has been given. And a little bit of treatment needed for Tyrell Malacia, who started the last 5 now, either side of the World Cup finals. He went to Qatar with Netherlands but didn't play. Daley Blind retained the position on the left-hand side of the Dutch defence. But Tyrell Malacia has been revived by the Manchester United medical team. Play will restart with a free kick to Manchester United on the edge of their own penalty area. That Wolves win over United at the start of this year is their only win in the last 8 meetings. They've actually met 11 times since Wolves came back up in 2018. There's never been more than a goal between them in any of those encounters. Only 6 goals in total in the last 5 Premier League meetings. Stuart Pearce's charity bet is for a 2-2 draw here today. It's 0-0. Ericsson 15 metres inside the Wolves half of the field. Out to Anthony. Rolled into the path of Wan-Bissaka, who's got forward more in the last 10 minutes or so in support of Anthony. He's on the ball but under pressure from Daniel Podence. Squeezed into the path of Varane, venturing forward. Sliding challenge by Diego Costa is good. Moutinho. Podence trying to find a way out. Trying to find Neves square of it. Just manages to control the ball, but under pressure from Garnacho gives up possession again. And both teams almost trying to lure each other in and then hit quickly on the counter-attack. It's quite a strategic contest, but there's plenty of tempo about the game. It's a combative sort of a match. And it's very, very evenly poised, not only in the scoreline but in the general balance of play. Ericsson on the halfway line for Manchester United. Comes back to Luke Shaw. Martial has come very deep, looking for the ball and plays it back to Varane. Halfway line still. Now Ericsson looking to surge forward down the kind of inside left channel for Manchester United. Exchanges passes with Bruno Fernandes. Malacia is forward on that left-hand side, but Manchester United have to come back in order to go forward again. Varane halfway line. Wolves keeping their shape, which is pretty much 4-4-1-1 off the ball. But Anthony has been slipped in here, just outside the Wolves penalty area. Now inside the box, Anthony, but beat himself with a rather strange manoeuvre. And Wolves have it back. Bruno Fernandes heads it back, and Manchester United are back on the ball with Luke Shaw midway through the Manchester United half and all the way back to David De Gea, and that Wolverhampton Wanderers harassing and hounding out of possession wins a grateful round of applause from the Wolves fans. Garnacho coming forward. Martial is beaten to it by Collins, showing a little bit more appetite. Hwang tries to go forward, ball comes off Casemiro. Wolves throw in midway inside their own half on the right-hand side. Forgive me if you've been with us throughout, but Marcus Rashford has been left out of the Manchester United team today on what Eric Ten Hag has described as disciplinary grounds. And it's a bold move because they're missing him, Stuart Pearce, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. As I say, certainly on this side of the pitch, and I'm sure Rashford would have probably played the other side, but this side of the pitch where we are, Anthony's failed to have much impact and have ceded the ball on too many an occasion.
Garnacho is the man who's come in for Rashford, who is on the bench, incidentally, on the Manchester United left. That's the only change from the team that beat Nottingham Forest on Tuesday night, and beat them very convincingly indeed. Jose Sarr has the ball at his feet. The Wolves are still trying to play it out short. Collins to Semedo. And then Collins forward to Neves, who he found a little fortuitously. And Neves can set up an attack now. And it's forward to Diego Costa. Running with Wan-Bissaka, 10 metres outside the penalty area. Hwang with a crossing opportunity. It's over the head of Varane. It's volleyed by Podence. It comes from Moutinho, just outside the box. Mateus Nunes back in towards Podence, who fails to control. And the ball runs away from him tamely for a Manchester United throw-in. But I think the Wolves fans are enjoying the approach of their team when they come forward.
I think they are, but you can hear the applause and the excitement around the stadium when they get it forward that little bit quicker than what they're doing. And as you say, in the last build-up, as you rightly called, the build-up was so slow, and pass after pass were putting each other in trouble.
Wan-Bissaka winning the ball back from Manchester United. Anthony just inside his own half. Garnacho running at the edge of the Wolves penalty area, has Malacia in support. There is Tiro Malacia. His cross is a good one, headed by Anthony, and it's easily saved by Jose Sarr. Anthony did pretty well, in fairness to him, on that occasion. The cross slightly behind him, but he directed the ball at the keeper.
Yeah, he did. Good pull back as well, just probably about 10 metres out, and he's got decent pace on it, but fortunately for Wolves it didn't hit one of the defenders and deflect past the goalkeeper.
Still 0-0. Live on Talksport. Manchester City versus Everton to come at 3 o'clock this afternoon. Here on Game Day exclusive. As soon as we finish here, Adrian Durham takes over from the Etihad. Then at 5:30, Jamie O'Hara and Gabby Agbonlahor will be taking your calls on Game Day phone-in here on Game Day on Talksport. No goals at Molineux, but certainly a promise of goals. Malacia is on the ball for Manchester United, given away to Semedo. Shaw is first to respond. Eriksen feeds it back to him, and back to David De Gea, and out to Wan-Bissaka. His first 3 starts since April in the last 10 days. Wan-Bissaka, who was first choice at Manchester United for his first couple of seasons, but he's been on the fringes the last 12 months. And I think mainly because there's a feeling that he isn't as effective in the opponent's half of the field as he is in his own half of the field. There was a day when fullbacks used to be defenders, but not anymore. Malacia coming forward to prove that, to the edge of the penalty area. Eriksen can't quite gather it in. Ruben Neves can. He would have escaped, but for a blocking challenge by Casemiro, who I think is going to get a talking to from referee Robert Jones, but no more. A lot of people calling for a card. Chance for Stuart Pearce to discuss the evolution of the fullback in the 21st century.
Where do we start on that one? I think there always was fullbacks that got forward, you know.
Including?
Certainly myself, I'd prefer to be surging into the opposition's box than defending somebody, but certainly there's an expectation, as we've seen, not just the fullbacks, for all the back four to take the ball and be confident with the ball at your feet. And at times, Clive, I've got to say, I think they overdo it to the cost of what they're trying to achieve as a team going forward.
I mean, Aaron Wan-Bissaka is as far removed from Trent Alexander-Arnold as a player almost as it's possible to be, and yet they fill the same role in two of the most prominent teams in this country. Yeah,
and then you've just got to fit those individual players. In Wan-Bissaka's case, he's got an out-and-out winger in front of him that isn't prepared to do a lot defensively for him, so you've got to be able to defend if you're Wan-Bissaka, that is for sure.
There's discussion taking place while Ruben Neves recovers his senses after his coming together with Casemiro, who did only get a ticking off. I have to say, for one of the most streetwise players I've ever seen, Casemiro can put on a very innocent face, and he managed to convince Rob Jones that he wasn't guilty enough to see yellow on that occasion. But I think he's probably on a final warning now. Play has resumed, and Wolves have won a throw-in. About 20 metres from the corner flag, they're attacking on their left-hand side. Hugo Bueno takes it. Daniel Podence tries to spin and turn, played across the penalty area, but behind Hwang. And Garnacho is back there helping out. Is fouled by Semedo. No, Wolves have won a throw-in. No foul. Throw-in's taken to Neves. Back out to Semedo. Right-hand side. Back to Neves again. Crossing position. In towards Costa. And just couldn't quite squeeze between Casemiro and Varane and get a decisive header. It came off his shoulder and looped and was easy for David ahead. The Wolves are winning it back now. Martial has given it up rather cheaply on this occasion. Manchester United front three really been full of menace as yet. Just lack a little bit of edge, I think, coming forward. Yeah, they do. They probably look slightly better when they've counter-attacked rather than a build-up when Wolves have got defenders in slot, it's fair to say. Semedo coming forward for Wolves. Still 0-0 at Molineux. On the board is Moutinho. Forward to Diego Costa. Holds it up and lays it back to Moutinho again. Square to Neves. Looking for Bueno down the left-hand side, but it's a miss-hit from Ruben Neves, and he slices it into the hands of David De Gea. Costa just got a glimpse of goal there and went to try to head it. I'm not sure it didn't come off the shoulder of Varane in actual fact, but it just looped up into the air and was easy enough for David De Gea. But he will compete for the ball if you do throw it into the box. That much you can be certain of. Anthony throwing the ball into the Wolves box, but beyond Anthony Martial and Jose Sarr is in charge, and once more Wolverhampton Wanderers look to play their way out. Now Collins goes long up to the halfway line, still 0-0. Diego Costa has it. Moutinho, play back to Ruben Neves, out to Bueno, over the halfway line. Wolves coming forward again. Podence has pulled wide, cutting inside now, finding Bueno again, crossed and dealt with by Malacia, but it was a cross of some danger. Podence tries a trick. Bruno Fernandes slides in, wins the ball, but Wolves have it back. Mateus Nunes didn't quite keep the ball in. Manchester United throw in. But Wolves are looking as likely as their opponents at the moment. Yeah, they are. I prefer Wolves when they go from back to front a little bit more readily. I'm not talking about going just at one long ball, but certainly look to get forward. Every time they play a sideways ball, it just encourages United on the press. 0-0 at Molineux. Garnacho has the ball for Manchester United. Midway inside the Wolves' half. Comes square in field to Martial. He gets it back from Eriksen. Martial out to the left-hand side of Malacia. Martial once more. Coming deep looking for the ball. He hasn't seen a great deal of it. Casemiro retains possession for Manchester United. And Hwang wins the ball, but only after bowling Malacia over and then running it out of play. Manchester United have a throw-in. Taken to Eriksen and a little bit of space by Malacia. Malacia again on the touchline. Thinks about a cross, instead goes back to Eriksen again. He feeds it all the way back to Varane, the last man, edge of the centre circle. He ventures forward and finds Anthony on the right-hand side. All left foot, cuts inside, drills it into the box. Another poor one from Anthony, who's cutting a very frustrated figure. I should think Manchester United fans are frustrated with him.
Clive, he would irritate the life out of me. Every time he gives it away, he points at his teammates and tells them exactly what they should be doing. And I remember listening to an interview with Ten Hag and Fernandes, and they say if this kid starts to listen, he might be a good player. He certainly does more talking than listening from what I'm seeing.
He was in the Brazilian World Cup squad. He was used by Chite on 4 occasions during the finals. It's not an easy squad or team to get into. 22 years of age, plenty of time on his side, but yeah, maybe just a little bit more listening and learning to do still. Garnacho is even younger, plays it back to Malacia. Edge of the penalty area, Collins beats Martial to the ball. Manchester United have a throw in 15 metres from the corner flag that they're attacking on the left-hand side. Garnacho back to Malacia. 1 added minute coming at the end of this first half. Still Wolverhampton Wanderers 0, Manchester United 0, and this time with half-time in sight. Varane does the safety first thing and goes all the way back to David De Gea on the edge of the big. There are some bright sparks on the 2 benches. Marcus Rashford is stripped and on the United bench today, along with Anthony Elanga. Wolves have the likes of Raul Jimenez and Adama Traore and Gonzalo Guedes to turn to. Bruno Fernandes thinking about a shot from range, instead turns, finds Garnacho inside the penalty area. Alejandro Garnacho is crossed towards Martial. Oh, and turned off the post by Sarr from Anthony's stooping header. He needed a bit of help from his goalpost there, Jose Sarr, to keep it out. It's pretty much the closest we've had to a goal so far. Yeah,
Garnacho done really well there in the wide area, cut it back, and when it landed at Anthony's head, he's just heading it into the turf a little bit, which lost some power, enabling Sarr to get across. Good save eventually.
Both Martial and Anthony had really good headed opportunities there. Both stooping headers, almost diving headers. You might wonder, and they're going to have time to wonder because the half-time whistle has gone, if either of them might have tried to volley the ball in there from a very dangerous cross. But aside from Jose Sarr's excellent save from Garnacho early in the game, that is the closest we've come to a goal in this game so far. At the break, it's Wolverhampton Wanderers 0, Manchester United 0.
Clive Tilsley, thank you very much. Yeah, lots of shouting and actually some booing amongst the fans here at Wolves as well. Is this a game, Stuart Pearce, that is screaming out for Marcus Rashford, given Anthony's antics?
Well, I wouldn't say antics, it's just the way the kid plays the game, you know, but there's an old saying in football that says you don't learn anything when you're talking, only when you're listening, you know. What I would say is I don't think he's had much of an impact on this side of the pitch. Garnacho a little bit more that side, and you know full well that Rashford, barring discipline, would be probably in the starting lineup.
Is this a moment where you're able to take those kind of risks, because a victory today in Manchester United go into the top 4, and psychologically that's a huge thing?
Well, I think what's happened in the modern day game now, it's not so much your starting lineup, it's more important which teams have got the strongest impacts from the bench. We saw that in the World Cup a lot, with a lot of goal scorers coming off the bench, and I think the same can apply today, and you would fully expect that United have got more impact from the bench than Wolverhampton have.
Yeah, okay, it's been an interesting first half there. Very few chances on goal, but we did see that last attempt, possibly from Anthony, in the closing stages of that first half. But it is currently goalless between Wolves and Manchester United. Big second half coming up after this.
Game day exclusive on Talksport with Car Finance 24/7. Get your finance sorted first, then choose your car. Search Car Finance 24/7 today.
For all the top Premier League analysis, listen to The Game, the Premier Football podcast from The Times. Every Monday and Thursday, join Hugh Woosencroft and a host of big-name guests for in-depth reaction and opinion on the latest action and the biggest issues in the world of football. Hear previews of all the upcoming matches and provocative and compelling opinions from some of the finest football writers from The Times and The Sunday Times.
Lovely bit of football.
Listen to The Game on the free Times Radio app or wherever you find your podcasts.
Ho, ho, hold your horses. Reindeers, glitter baubles. Have Just Eat got some winner Christmas dinner lunches. Breakfast for you. With the McDonald's Big Tasty with Bacon. Domino's Ultimate Spicy Sausage Pizza. Costa Coffee Gingerbread Latte. Pizza Express Snowball Dough Balls. Plus more from Greg's, Creams Cafe, Starbucks and Five Guys. So fill your buckled elf boots, stocking, sleigh today. Christmas, we got it.
Did somebody say Just Eat?
Product subject to availability in restaurant and serving times. Participating stores only. See justeat.co.uk for details.
For Betfair, betting is supposed to be fun, a way to play where you're in control. And to help you make the right choice and stay in control, Betfair has created some online tools. They're practical, so you can set yourself a deposit limit or a loss limit, get reminders after a certain amount of time playing with Gaming Time Check, and take breaks with a timeout, so your betting stays fun. To try them out, go to safergambling.betfair.com.
18 plus begambleaware.org.
We got it at Selco. Selco, it's where the trade goes.
At Selco Builders Warehouse, we've got real deals and a wide range of trade quality building products. In December, we've got 10% off the trade price of our range of Type 11, 21 and 22 radiators. Now that's a real deal. Find even more real deals at Selco Builders Warehouse and online at selcobw.com.
We got it at Selco. Selco, it's where the trade goes.
That charged at 20%.
What does Asahi Super Dry taste like? Crisp, refreshing and always super dry. A taste as unexpected and surprising as modern Japan. That's right, Japan's #1 beer. Asahi Super Dry, beyond expected. Go to asahisuperdry.com to verify. Enjoy responsibly. Visit drinkaware.co.uk to find out more.
You what? You what? You what? You what? You what? You're not watching the big footy games in a pub and grill fan zone at Village Hotels? Who are ya? Premier League and big games on giant screens, stadium seats, great lineup of beers, and dirty burgers and bar snacks to tackle. Plus, win big game tickets, beer for a year, and other great prizes. Visit villagehotels.com/Talksport. Terms and conditions apply. 18 plus. Always drink responsibly. Who are ya?
Game day exclusive on Talksport with Now Sports. Stream all the Sky Sports action like Brighton versus Arsenal live today for $11.99. No contract. Search Now Sports 18 plus. Stream via internet. Terms apply.
Step up to the hockey for exclusive coverage of the 2023 PDC World Darts Championship quarter-final tomorrow afternoon from 12:30 live over on Talksport 2.
It's a 9-darter!
Talksport 2 hits the bullseye with live and exclusive commentary direct from Alexandra Palace as the giants of world darts clash in pursuit of the Sid Waddell Trophy.
Can he get a 180? Yes, he can!
The PDC World Darts Championship quarter-final tomorrow afternoon from 12:30 live over on Talksport 2.
This is Game Day exclusive. I'm Reshmin Chowdhury. I'm alongside Stuart Pearce and Clive Tilsley today for our first of 2 live Premier League games for you across the Talksport network. We are at Molineux, where it's currently Wolves 0, Manchester United 0. Let's get the latest from Betfair then, shall we? The official betting partner of Talksport's Premier League coverage.
Game day on Talksport with Betfair. Get a hand from Betfair's popular bet builder and easily add our fan favourite football selections to your bet slip. Terms and conditions apply. See support.betfair.com. 18 plus begambleaware.org.
Sam Rossbottom from Betfair. What are you making of this one so far? What are the odds saying?
Well, not too many fireworks in that first half of football, was there? But Manchester United are still fancied to win this one. The punters have got them as the favourites. Still 23-20 they are to win this match, Manchester United. The draw is 8-5. And Wolves, who have held their own pretty well and have had a couple of chances themselves, currently 18-5 to get the 3 points at home. Looking in that first half, Alejandro Garnacho looking really bright on that left-hand side for Manchester United. If you think he can be key for them in the second half, for him to score or assist and Manchester United to win the game, that's currently coming out at just over 7-2 when you back it as a double in a bet builder. And we do have Stuart Pearce's charity bet, don't we? We've got a bet builder on Bruno Fernandes to score over 3.5 goals in the match and it to end in a draw. Our £50 charity stake will return £1,627 if all three land, but we do need a late Christmas miracle as things stand, so fingers crossed for the second half, Rashmin.
Fingers crossed indeed. Sam Roswelton from Betfair, thank you very much. As always, that odds update is all thanks to Betfair. Returns accurate as of 10 minutes ago. For verification, see betfair.com. Over 18s only, conditions applied, but make sure you go to begambleaware.org.
Game day on Talksport with Betfair. Get a hand from Betfair's popular bet builder and easily add our fan favourite football selections to your bet slip. Terms and conditions apply. See support.betfair.com. 18 plus begambleaware.org.
Okay, let's look ahead to this evening's Premier League action then, shall we, with Now Sports.
Stay ahead of the game on Talksport with Now Sports. Stream all the Sky Sports action like Brighton versus Arsenal live today for $11.99. No contract. Search Now Sports 18 plus. Stream via internet. Terms apply.
Okay, Brighton take on Arsenal this evening. It's a 5:30 kickoff. Two teams who had wins on Boxing Day, both of them getting 3-1 victories after that World Cup break. Brighton, of course, no Alexis McAllister for them, no suspended Moise Caicedo either. But it's an intriguing one, this, because Arsenal are a team certainly in form, but so are Brighton. Stuart Pearce.
Yeah, they certainly are. I can't see beyond Arsenal. I think they're in such a role at the moment, such great momentum. They've got a mindset of probably going down to Brighton and getting a point. It's not on their forte at the moment. They're going down, I think, to win, and I can only see an Arsenal victory today. But Brighton are playing quite well, in a really, really good league position at the moment. Obviously, you know, Potter leaving left them in a good position, but certainly that good work has carried on.
Yeah, De Zerbi not doing a bad job at all. It didn't all go to plan in the beginning. It looked like they had the same problems of who's going to be the goal scorer, but they've sort of managed to pick up the points very, very diligently as well. And now they're actually, you know, no Graham Potter, but they're a place above Chelsea in the table.
The club are built on solid foundations, you know, so whoever the figurehead moves on at this moment in time, certainly you can see the stability of the football club in general.
Brighton have won 4 of their last 7 against Arsenal in all competitions. There have been some feisty ones as well. I remember Neil Maupay getting the better of, was it Bernd Leno in that famous game? Lots of anger in that one. How do you see that one going? That feistiness doesn't go away, does it? That sort of that rivalry.
And so it shouldn't. There's a lot to play for both of these teams. Arsenal have got the opportunity to extend their lead. So Brighton as well got the opportunity to push near a European place.
Indeed. Okay, let's see. There's so many teams pushing for European places, aren't there, at the moment, whether it's top 4, whether it's top 7 as well. I'll tell you what, Marcus Rashford is currently warming up on the pitch as well. I wonder, as Manchester United push for that 4th place as well, you feel like he might get a look in this second half. Of course, left out for internal disciplinary reasons by Erik ten Hag. And he started the game on the bench. Okay, but the 5:30 kickoff is Brighton against Arsenal. Jamie O'Hara and Gabby O'Bonnell will be taking your calls from 5:30 this evening. That's before anyone else on national radio. They'll also be keeping you up to date with all the goings on at the Amex. That was a look ahead to today's Premier League action with Now Sports. And don't forget that with Now Sports you can stream the Premier League action like Brighton against Arsenal live today from $11.99. No contract. Search Now Sports.
Stay ahead of the game on Talksport with Now Sports. Stream all the Sky Sports action like Brighton versus Arsenal live today for $11.99. No contract. Search Now Sports 18 plus. Stream via internet. Terms apply.
Okay, Manchester City are taking on Everton. I got confused there for a second. That game is at 3 p.m. live on Talksport following us here at Molineux. The former Leeds and Manchester City defender Danny Mills is at the Etihad for us now. He's a co-commentator today. Now I remember which game it is, Danny Mills. Look, we've been talking about Erling Haaland and we can't stop talking about him. He is in form post-World Cup. He didn't play at the World Cup. He must have been chomping at the bit to get back on the pitch. He had. No one seems to be able to stop him. Everton are a side under pressure, but they're going to have to find a way. The question, Danny Mills, is can they?
It'll be very, very difficult. You know, we have to say, we know it's not just Erling Haaland. It's quality all over the pitch that they have. So if you double up on Haaland, you leave space for Foden, Silva, Mahrez, De Bruyne, you know,
The list goes on,
whoever that might be.
Yeah.
It's a difficult one, I think, for Everton today. Had they have picked up a point or 3 against Wolves, you come into this game not as a freebie, but you're thinking, okay, get beat here today, 2-0, 3-0, it's not the end of the world. But because obviously you had those 2 games before Christmas against Bournemouth, and then you come into these games, and obviously having lost to Wolves, then if you lose this one 4-0, suddenly it does become a little bit of an issue, with some tough games coming up. Let's be honest, I've seen Leeds come here and win against the run of play completely, you know, scoring in the sort of the last couple of minutes. I've seen Watford come here and get beat 8, and I think that was 6 maybe at half time. Yeah, if you get
and
City
we saw
on
Brentford, didn't we, before the winter break as well? We were there with game day.
If you get City on a good day, Reshman, you're in trouble. And that's the problem. Everton have got to be at their very, very best, you know, really, really up for it, and hope that City have a little bit of an off day.
Yeah, they don't have many of them, do they? And, you know, Everton seem to be having far too many of them recently. And, you know, Frank Lampard has come in. He's had a chance to sort of bring in his own players as well. This is almost the worst fixture he could have hoped for after, as you say, that last defeat to Wolves. How much pressure is there on him now? You know, even just to look at him when he talks in press conference, he looks like he's feeling the pressure.
Well, you know, Stuart will tell you that there's always pressure on every single manager, you know, especially when you're not getting the results. But I think you have to be realistic. I look at Everton similar to West Ham. They've been in lots of games where they haven't quite got over the line at times, or they've conceded late on. Everton have been better this season. I think Cody and Tarkowski have come in and made the defence much better. But then you're looking at, you know, Mikalenko, who's still a young player, and he's had an awful lot to deal with off the pitch. Patterson, you know, is very, very young at fullback. Onana, you know, in the middle is very, very young. There isn't a whole lot of creativity. Obviously, Garner's been injured for huge parts. You get rid of Richarlison. Yeah, but you get rid of Richarlison, you know, and suddenly is that where the goal's going to come from? You know, Gordon is very, very young. You know, Damari Gray was brought in, sort of, you know, this time last year, I think, or whenever it was, for a very, very small fee. You have to be realistic and look at it. And, you know, and when Frank says we're always expecting to be sort of maybe in the bottom half of the table and a fight, he's not wrong in that. And I think sometimes, you know, people are maybe on the outside think, oh, they should be in a better position. But you would say the same about the likes of West Ham and Leicester maybe early on in the season.
An interesting one, that game. Danny, enjoy it at the Etihad. Danny's alongside Mark Wilson for exclusive commentary of Manchester City against Everton at 3 p.m. They'll be keeping you up to date with all the other 3 o'clock kickoffs in the Premier League as well. Here, though, at Molineux, Marcus Rashford left out in that first half. He is coming onto the pitch, as is Adama Traore. Big changes for both sides going into this second half, so it's time to hand you back to our commentary team. Stuart Pearce, but first, Clive Tilton.
Alejandro Garnacho and Diego Costa are the 2 players who have gone off to usher on 2 very exciting attacking talents in the shape of Marcus Rashford and Adama Traore for this second half. Wolverhampton Wanderers have won an early corner kick on the right-hand side, so we'll just assess those changes in a moment's time after Wolves have taken this corner. But Rashford has scored 2 very fine goals in the 2 games since the World Cup final. Scored 3 there for England, 8 in his last 13 for club and country, 6 of those 13 appearances as a sub. So he's on, and Adama Traore, who's had 75 minutes in 2 substitute appearances for Lopetegui, has come on for Wolves. Corner taken by Bueno from the right-hand side, headed on by Collins, headed away by Malacia. Eriksson clears his lines, and the first touch from Marcus Rashford is down the right-hand side, and he can accelerate over the halfway line and run through 2 challenges, nearly a third. Semedo just managed to catch up with him and win the ball back for Wolves. Casemiro dispossessed by Bueno. The Wolverhampton Wanderers have it back inside their own half of the field. So Traore for Costa and Rashford for Garnacho, and in my humble opinion, Stuart Pearce, Garnacho might just have been the pick of the Manchester United front three in the first half.
I've got to agree with you on that front, Clive. I think he was the most effective of the three. There's no doubt about that. I'm surprised that Anthony's still on the pitch, but it might be a positional thing more than anything.
Yeah, Rashford likes to play down the left, and that's where Garnacho was playing. And Rashford, who was left out of the starting 11 over what Eric Ten Hag described rather mysteriously as an internal disciplinary issue, is now on the field. And Manchester United are coming forward with Bruno Fernandes, exchanging passes with Marcus Rashford and then overrunning the ball, and Moutinho wins it back. Traore has started on the right-hand side for Wolves, with Hwang playing down the centre now. Traore exchanging passes with Podence and running at the left flank for Manchester United, edge of the penalty area. Traore finds a cross, Varane heads it away, Casemiro tidies up. And already the game has a somewhat livelier feel about it. Anthony resisting a challenge inside his own half before Núñez got to him. Wolverhampton Wanderers have an injury problem on that far side because Daniel Podence, in tackling Anthony, has hurt himself. Just back to the subject of Marcus Rashford, we don't know why he's been left out today. It's 45 minutes disciplinary. I mean, is that really a punishment? Would a real punishment have been just to leave him out altogether today? What if he comes on and wins the game now?
Well, if he comes on and wins the game, the manager will be down in the technical area with a lovely smug look on his face that he's dealt out a little bit of discipline to the squad and shoved a message out there if you're late for training or whatever it may be. And the kids come off the bench, learnt his lesson and won the game for the team. But straight away we've seen the impact of Rashford at one end and Traore at the other. Traore going past 5 players and delivering an absolutely delightful cross.
Podence is still down, and it's an unfortunate injury because he made a rather awkward challenge on Anthony and got a little buckled up as he fell to the ground. And so Lopetegui's change, and we don't know whether that was tactical or not at half time. I suspect that Diego Costa has maybe picked up an injury of some description, but we don't know that for sure. But that's a complete change to the Wolves front line now because Funky Chan will play down the centre.
Yeah, it certainly is. But the one thing you would say, which is the real disappointment, if you like, that delivering the cross that Traore just did, that is absolutely perfection for the likes of Diego Costa, and he's sat with us in the stand at the moment.
Traore won his place back under Steve Davis when he took over temporarily following Bruno Lage's demise. There's always suitors for highly individual talents like Traore. There has been talk of a new contract. Remember, he spent part of last season on loan to Barcelona. He'll be 27 next month. He's still got plenty of time. He's certainly still got plenty of pace, and it's not too long ago that some of the biggest clubs in the land were being linked with Adama Traore.
Listen, 2 years ago he was unplayable, this lad. You know, you would come to Wolverhampton and know full well that if he picked the ball up and started running at you, chances are you're going to have, you need 3, 4, 5 players to stop him when he gets on a roll. He's very exciting to watch on his day.
Play is still stopped for this treatment to Daniel Podence, who happily now is back on his feet, albeit moving rather gingerly. I don't know when he got shaken up a little bit in the challenge too. There's certainly some treatment to a leg injury, but I sense now the physios are talking to him to make sure that he's not concussed in any ways. Might just stretching his lips almost as if he's taken a blow to the jaw too. Maybe just checking that nothing has been damaged on his face, but it looks now as if he's going to be able to continue, which frankly a couple of minutes ago it didn't.
How do you stretch your lips, Clive?
You stretch your lips. I'll show you after the game. It's not an easy thing to illustrate on radio. Listen, I'll ask the difficult questions if you don't mind. Traore running at Malacia, asking questions of him. Edge of the Wolves penalty area, and he's found another cross, found the head of Varane. It's an important header away. Anthony helps it on its way, only as far as Max Kilman. Out to Bueno, midway through the Manchester United half. Mateus Núñez surging forward, but really good cover from Casemiro does so much of that work on behalf of the defenders behind him and wins the ball back from Manchester United. And Bruno Fernandes now to Anthony, running at Kilman, edge of the penalty area. Anthony onto his favoured left foot, blocked by Collins. Chest, I think. Half-hearted handball appeals. Anthony is still appealing. Manchester United have the ball. Shaw angled into Bruno Fernandes. Back to Anthony, complete miskick, total slice. Semedo is there and is able to chest it down for Jose Sarr to collect. They are just checking how Collins blocks this attempt from Anthony. He sort of turns his side on it. Is he hitting him on the top of the arm?
It's hit his arm, but I don't think he's put his arm out to deflect it at all. But
plays continuing. Bruno Fernandes, Martial, edge of the Wolves penalty area. Christian Eriksen feeds Rashford in low, on by Martial. Bruno Fernandes, Anthony's there. Another good smothering save by Jose Sarr. Once more showed a bit more appetite than Anthony to get to the ball, but Manchester United carrying a threat now.
Yeah, they are. Good build up there. The ball played pinball around the box, and when Fernandes had the effort that was blocked, goalkeeper's done brilliantly again, I've got to say. Made a couple of very smart saves in this game.
Yeah, very brave goalkeeping by Jose Sarr. Rashford is down hurt for the moment as Manchester United come forward. He's going to need some treatment. But Jose Sarr won a couple of Player of the Year awards here in his first season. Won a lot of friends when it was revealed that he'd been playing with a broken bone in his wrist early on this season. He's not 30 yet. He was in Qatar with his predecessor here, Rui Patricio, as backup to Diogo Costa in the Portuguese squad. But he's emerged as one of the outstanding keepers in the Premier League, I think, in the last year, Jose Sarr.
Well, certainly his performance, Clive, today has been outstanding. That one-on-one earlier in the game, just before half-time as well, smothering one at his near post, and obviously that stop as well.
Rashford's okay. It's still goalless. And the ball is back with Sarr's opposite number, David De Gea. He drills one down the centre of the field. Collins gets to it ahead of Martial. Moutinho, Ruben Neves, onto Traore. He tried to go back to Collins, but it's cut out by Rashford. Bruno Fernandes bursting forward, and Collins, taking no chances, just smashes the ball away from Manchester United. Throw in 10 metres inside the Wolves half on the Manchester United right-hand side. You're listening to Wolves 0, Manchester United 0 on Talksport with Now Sports. With Now Sports, you can stream all the Sky Sports action, including Brighton versus Arsenal, live and later today for $11.99. No contract. Search Now Sports. Manchester United coming forward with Wan-Bissaka and Anthony combining on their right-hand side. It's played back to Anthony Martial. Bruno Fernandes, Casemiro trying to spread the ball, cut out by Traore. Moutinho, I should say, guilty of a foul on his fellow countryman Bruno Fernandes. In quite a promising position for Manchester United, about 8 paces outside the penalty area and just right of centre. Rashford country?
Yeah, it's in a really good position, whether more so for a left footer, I think, than a right footer, but from this distance, up and down over the wall, into the blind side of the goalkeeper, looks the best option.
Well, there are 5 standing over the ball. Rashford looks the least likely at the moment. Luke Shaw Fernandes is that left footer. Yeah, Luke Shaw's left foot or Bruno Fernandes' right foot. It is only marginally right of centre. There's a slightly better angle for Shaw, but Bruno Fernandes has placed it. And Bruno Fernandes appears to have taken charge. The wall is maybe 1 pace inside the penalty area, so that's how close to the edge of the box it is. Bruno Fernandes off a 2-pace runner. And he started it really. Well, what happened really, got underneath it, the ball flew and looped, and it was 2 points to Wasps that. It was way over the crossbar. A really, really poor effort from Bruno Fernandes.
Yeah, that could have been my bet. Just flown out the ground there, Clive.
Wolverhampton Wanderers are about to bring on Johnny from the substitutes bench, who hasn't played since November the 9th because of a groin injury. Can play in either fullback position. forward with Podence. He's brought down by Casemiro, tactical foul, yellow card. Casemiro knew exactly what he was doing, what professionals like Stuart Pearce will call a good foul.
Well, you know what, I've got a slightly different opinion there. I think the game has got to change a little bit. You know, that is a definite yellow card, but I almost feel as though there should be more involved. Players this day and age find it acceptable to bring someone down and stop a counter-attack, and it's almost worse than a yellow, but it's not a red, you know. It's a 10-minute in the sin bin this day and age, I think.
Well, there's a thought. You could have spent a bit of time with your feet up, couldn't you, during your playing career?
Always used to have Christmas off, Clive, you know what I mean?
How many visits to the sin bin can you have in one game in the new order of Stuart Pearce world?
That's called a sending off. You can have 90 minutes worth if you want.
Well, the Manchester United wall here is a pace outside the penalty area. It's just right of centre again at the other end of the field. And we have a free kick specialist in Ruben Neves standing over the ball. Big opportunity for Wolves. We've had 13 minutes in the second half. Ruben Neves, it's brilliant. And throw is the save from David De Gea. Really good free kick from Ruben Neves. But David De Gea made ground across his goal and poured it behind for a corner kick.
Absolutely super free kick there. Top spin on the ball. Going right, well, I wouldn't say right in the top corner, but near as damn it, curling in from outside the post, and De Gea, fantastic save.
It's as close as we've seen for Wolves. That terrific free kick from Neves. He's won a corner. Moutinho back to Neves again. High loopy ball into the box. Bueno arriving late, but Wan-Bissaka deals with it. And Rashford can escape down the Manchester United right, trying to set up a counter-attack. Wan-Bissaka takes over. Down the centre of the field now, rather hopefully, and Collins is there. And Wolves are back on the ball with Bueno. Now the ball is spread out to this right-hand side by White. Podence can't control it initially, but Bruno Fernandes slips, and Podence does have the ball and wastes the ball and loses control, and Manchester United have a throw-in on their left.
Well, we had a situation there where the player tried to look good than be good and dribbled it out of play.
The Wolves have a throw-in just inside the Manchester United half. Johnny Otto is stripped for then. Fred is about to come on for Manchester United. We're approaching the hour mark. Each manager made one half-time change. Here's the Wolves sub. Traore to Moutinho. Hwang. Back to Ruben Neves. Terrible ball. Not his first of the day, I have to say. Straight to Anthony. Halfway line. Bruno Fernandes. Back out to Anthony on the right-hand side. Midway through the Wolves half of the field. Casemiro. Clipped into the box. Bruno Fernandes. No flag, and he's screwed it wide. Now the flag goes up. Now the flag goes. He looked offside. And the assistant just waited to be sure, and Bruno Fernandes missed the target anyway. Well offside.
Yeah, another one of those situations where you wonder why the referee didn't flag to start with. He was that far off.
So Fred for Eriksson is the Manchester United change. Rounded off the win over Nottingham Forest on Tuesday with a well-taken third goal. Fred, last 15 minutes in that game, he had 5 minutes against Burnley. He was involved in 4 of the 5 Brazil World Cup games. Actually got called on by Chite before the likes of Fabinho and Bruno Guimaraes. Fred, he seemed to be above them in the pecking order, but he is a fringe player really for Manchester United, has been really since the spring, but a good player to bring on the right of their midfield three now, or the left of their midfield three now, with Wan-Bissaka on the ball. Forward by Varane, but possession is coughed up again by Manchester United before Wan-Bissaka wins it back, and then Wolves. Possession changing hands by the second. Podence now. He can't squeeze it forward to Moutinho because Casemiro's there, but Mateus Nunes has got the ball back for Wolves, and he was pulled back by Fred, his first action. Oh, no foul. On by Malacia. Dangerously forward towards Anthony. Just outside the penalty area. Cuts into the box now, Anthony across the face of goal. Cut out by Bueno. I think that might be just as well for the referee Rob Jones, because I think he missed one down the field. I think Wolves should have had a free kick, but they won the ball back and cleared their lines through Kilman. Casemiro still having a steady influence, quiet influence on the game. Forward to Bruno Fernandes, just outside the penalty area, tries, I think, a shot, which is dragged wide of the mark. Goal kick, and the boos are for the referee, who is not the most popular man in the Black Country at the moment.
No, I think if I were Wolverhampton, I would try and keep feeding Traore. You know, he's had one fantastic run through the centre of the pitch, delivered 2 wonderful crosses. He's probably the best crosser of the ball, digging things out and standing them up in world football. So they've got to keep feeding him.
Shaw with a header down. 0-0 at Molineux. Fred's sweeping it on, getting the ball back from Bruno Fernandes. Fred coming forward, trying to feed Anthony on a run. Well seen, though, by Kilman, who very calmly brings the ball out wide, checks and hooks it forward, but straight to Luke Shaw. Fred. Now Martial just outside the penalty area, left-hand side. Back to Casemiro. Out to the left-hand side, and Marcus Rashford. Fed into Martial inside the box. Kilman with a challenge corner kick. Manchester United on the left-hand side. Some sharp passing there from Manchester United. Corner on the left. Bruno Fernandes will take it. And the deeper we go into this game, 63 minutes played now, the more jeopardy on the first goal, if there is to be a first goal. Bruno Fernandes will take this corner, right-footed from the left-hand side. He's played it all the way back to Luke Shaw, just outside the penalty area. He crosses in. Varane with a header down, flicked on by Casemiro, turned away by Matheus Nunes. Shaw keeping the pressure on. Bruno Fernandes with a cross. Important header by Collins. Casemiro let it run out for a corner kick to Manchester United, this time on their right-hand side. Bruno Fernandes again running across the text, some concerted Manchester United pressure.
Yeah, just building up a bit of pressure here. At this moment in time, it's just not fell for probably the right people in the box at the moment. A few skirmishes, but nothing clear-cut.
Short corner this time, between Bruno Fernandes and Fred. Hooked in by Anthony into the penalty area, and it almost came for Luke Shaw. In fact, it must have come for Luke Shaw, because it's gone for a goal kick, but I think it skimmed against him off a Wolves defender. So here comes the long-awaited Wolves change at right back, because Johnny has been set and ready for a while. Nelson Semedo, who is on a yellow card, has come off, and on comes Johnny Otto, who's probably not been at his best this season. I think you can say the same of Semedo. Right back's been a bit of a problem for Wolverhampton Wanderers. Johnny had some knee problems last season, had injuries really the last couple of seasons. 28 now, the Spanish international who can play on either flank, but he is naturally right-footed, and he will now play against Marcus Rashford down the Manchester United left flank. Still, Wolverhampton Wanderers 0, Manchester United 0 on Talksport with Car Finance 24/7. Search Car Finance 24/7 today. Wolves coming forward with João Moutinho. Adama Traore just outside the Manchester United penalty area, skipping away from a couple of challenges, finding Ruben Neves. Lovely ball hooked into Johnny. His first involvement on the right-hand side. Matheus Nunes. Johnny again. Just 5 metres outside the penalty area, plays a poor pass, lucky to get it back, really off Podence. Moutinho can't turn inside the penalty area. Wolves have won it though, Fred has lost it and regained it, and now this time Fred can bring the ball away for Manchester United. Rather perilous square ball, but it's found Bruno Fernandes midway through his own half. Now Wan-Bissaka galloping over the halfway line, onto Anthony, right-hand touchline. Another chance for him to run at Bueno. Checks, comes in field. Bruno Fernandes, 10 metres outside the penalty area. Fred has stolen forward on the left-hand side edge of the box. Played back to Tyrell Malacia. Malacia just holds the ball and waits for movement ahead of him. Bruno Fernandes rolled into Rashford just outside the box. Little flick towards Malacia, but Wolves deal with it, and Ruben Neves clears his lines. Manchester United have it back. Luke Shaw. Sliding challenge by Hwang has hurt Fred, who is down, but play goes on with Bruno Fernandes with a 1-2 with Rashford. Now out to the right-hand side in Wan-Bissaka, 10 metres outside the penalty area. Wide to Anthony. Inevitably back onto his left foot. Casemiro tries a cross, charged down, then a left-footed volley. which is speculative to say the least, and is wide of the mark, and Wolves will have a goal kick. Which way is this one going to go, Stuart Pearce?
Well, it don't look as though it's going anyway at the moment. It looks as though it's going to be that ill-fated draw that we predicted at the start of the game, but certainly a 0-0 draw rather than a high-scoring one.
Wolves 0, Manchester United 0, live on Talksport, with Manchester City versus Everton to come, live and exclusive here on game day with Adrian. That's a 3 o'clock kickoff. Wolves are just preparing a couple of changes. The new year begins with a constant stream of live commentaries on Talksport over the coming week. Both Wolves and Manchester United figuring prominently. On Monday, that's the day after tomorrow, have your brains completely scrambled now, we've got commentary of Liverpool's game at Brentford from 5:30. United are back in action on Tuesday night against Bournemouth. Wolves play at Villa Park on Wednesday night. Both of those matches are live and exclusive on Talksport. Then next Friday, the 6th, our extensive coverage of the third round of the FA Cup begins with United against Everton from Old Trafford at 8. And on the Saturday night, Wolves are at Liverpool in the Cup, and commentary on that from 8 a week tonight. There's a stoppage in play here because we have another injury. We've got a couple of more changes on the way, and the game now is probably just in need of an X factor, just in need of a missing ingredient to unlock the door. Ryan Ait-Nouri, who has scored in each of Wolverhampton Wanderers' last 2 games from the bench, is about to come on, along with the defender Totti Gomez. It is 0-0. The latest odds are available from Betfair, the official betting partner of Talksport's Premier League coverage. At this moment, you can get a Wolves win at 11-2, Manchester United to win at 13-8, or you can back the draw, which is now the favourite, at 10-11. Those odds are from Betfair. You must be 18 or over. And as we keep saying, and we keep meaning, do be aware of begambleaware.org. So, ostensibly, we've got 2 defenders coming on, Ait-Nouri and Totti. But Ait-Nouri it was who rounded off that wonderful breakaway goal for Wolves at Goodison on Boxing Day, just a matter of 10 minutes after Ruben Neves had cleared off his own goal line to deny Ben Godfrey what probably would have been an Everton winner. Wolves stole the points with that length of the field break, and the 2 substitutes just getting some final instructions from Julian Lopetegui, who worked as a co-commentator on television at the 2006 World Cup. What do they know about football, the commentators?
Very, very little I've found over my time.
That's certainly been my experience over the last few decades, but there you go, you've got to see it from both sides of the microphone.
Do you think he's going to a 3 here, Clive? Bringing 2 defenders on. I think both central defenders have done extremely well for Wolves actually today. Johnny's just come on.
He did at Everton on Boxing Day, and Ait-Nouri was released as a wing back then to get forward and score that decisive goal. I think he's just waiting to see initially what the damage is to Matheus Nunes before he makes a final decision on what changes he's going to make. But Nunes is limping up rather gingerly on the far side, and the first impressions are he's not going to be able to continue. So whether that's going to change Lopetegui's, because he ready the 2 substitutes before the injury to Matheus Nunes. Lopetegui has already agreed a deal to bring the Brazilian international forward Matheus Cunha from Atletico Madrid on loan initially. He'll presumably be arriving here in the next few days. Transfer window opens tomorrow. And Wolves continuing with 10 for now, but Collins has won the ball beautifully for them. Really good play by Collins. He stepped forward and is wrestled to the ground by Fred. Another tactical foul, another yellow card. It's a good 12 paces outside the penalty area, but very central, and Fred will feel he had to do that.
Well, once again, goes back to the Casemiro foul. we turn around and talk about protecting the more talented players in the game, which we've done with the laws of the game, but we're stifling football by encouraging tactical fouls almost.
João Moutinho is going to come off, and so is Mateus Nunes, I guess. Oh no, in fact, he's going to bring off Hugo Bueno, the young left back, so Nunes is fit enough to continue. So we are now looking at a Wolves team with 3 centre-back. Aït-Nouri can get forward down the left-hand side where Bueno has been raiding. And Totti's gone forward for this free kick initially, but Nunes is going to be able to continue. So a free kick to Wolves, 15 paces outside the penalty area. It's going to be Ruben Neves, and he drills this one low, and the two-man Manchester United wall does its job. Neves trying to keep the move alive, but Malacia has won it. Shaw has tied it up, and Bruno Fernandes can play it out of harm's way. Bruno Fernandes on the ball for Manchester United. Forward to Malacia, still 0-0 at Molineux. Malacia looking for Martial, that's overhit. Let's get the team news on Manchester City versus Everton from the Etihad with Talksport's commentator Mark Wilson.
Cheers, Clive. One change for City. Bernardo Silva comes in for Gundogan, who drops to the bench. World Cup winner Julian Alvarez is back, but he too starts on the bench. Lampard makes 4 changes. Yerry Mina is injured. Maupay and McNeil drop to the bench. Gordon is ill. The good news, though, Calvert-Lewin is back. He joins Cody, Godfrey and Gray in the starting 11. We'll have an exclusive on Talksport with former City defender Danny Mills at the Etihad. It's Manchester City against Everton.
Martial inside the Wolverhampton Wanderers penalty area. Still goalless Molineux, unable to control the ball. Ball away by Mateus Nunes, one for Hwang to chase, but De Gea comes off limits to deal with that. Just lumps one down the field over Rashford, out of play for a throw-in, so we can get the team news on Newcastle United versus Leeds United at St James's with Steve Harmison.
It's Jesse Marsh that rings the changes. 3 changes for Leeds. Christensen, Roca and Greenwood out. Adams, Harrison and Ayling in. Newcastle, same side. For Eddie Howe's men that won at Leicester 3-0. Callum Wilson and Alan St Maxim on the bench. 3 p.m. at St James's Park.
Team news on Fulham versus Southampton at Craven Cottage now with Ollie Singh. Ollie Clegg, sorry.
Fulham unchanged from their 3-0 win over Palace, Clive. That means a start for inform Alexander Mitrovic, despite the fact he's nursing a foot problem. Meanwhile, 3 changes for Southampton from their loss to Brighton. Out come Perro, Diallo and Gineppo. In come Maitland-Niles, Bella Kotchap and Aribo.
Still Wolves 0, Manchester United 0 here at Molineux. Manchester United coming forward. Bruno Fernandes with a little backheel pass to Luke Shaw, midway through the Wolves' half of the field. Miscontrolled by Malacia, but he just managed to keep the ball in play, looking for a 1-2 with Casemiro that doesn't come off. Johnny wins the ball for Wolves. He seemed to be bowled to the ground there by Casemiro, but he manages to get back to his feet and then gives it away to Bruno Fernandes. Square to Fred, 20 metres outside the penalty area. Looking for space, there's precious little of that in a crowded midfield. Casemiro comes back to Shaw. Rashford, who's had a quiet game so far, played square to Fred, who hooks it forward. It's a poor one. So let's complete our team news roundup from the 3 o'clock games at Bournemouth against Crystal Palace with Alex Crook.
One change for Bournemouth as Jadon Anthony comes in for Jack Stacey. Palace make 2 alterations. Joel Ward and Mark Gurhey replace suspended duo Tyreek Mitchell and James Tompkins. It's Bournemouth against Palace at the Vitality.
And don't forget, at 3 o'clock you can hear live commentary on Manchester City versus Everton here exclusively on Talksport. In the first of our 2 Premier League commentaries today, it remains Wolverhampton Wanderers 0, Manchester United 0. And we've now had half an hour of this second half. Varane coming forward for Manchester United. Fred, play back to Casemiro. Square to Malacia. All this midway through the Wolves' half of the field. Wide now to Marcus Rashford, cutting in from the left-hand side, getting a return ball from Bruno Fernandes. Rashford's gone on and scored! Oh, it was inevitable! The prodigal son returns, dropped to the bench today for disciplinary reasons. Erik ten Hag turned to him at half-time, and Marcus Rashford apologises in the best possible way by scoring in 3 consecutive games now for Manchester United. And with just 14 minutes left to play at Molineux, that one could be a winner. Well, it just had to happen, Stuart Pearce.
Yeah, it certainly did. There was the impact from the bench once again. Wolves in good numbers in and around the box, and when Rashford played a 1-2, really poor defending. It was Collins that come out and was just dangled a leg, really. Didn't read the danger. Johnny's gone to ground, and Rashford coming in on his favoured right foot. He's always going to get a finish away. It's just whether anyone could stop it from there.
Well, he was England's top scorer in Qatar. He is Manchester United's top scorer this season with 11. That's 9 in his last 14 games for club and country. He only scored 5 last season. It's the third he scored against Wolves, the second here. And Marcus Rashford's 11th of the season is headline news. He was already that with Eric Ten Hag's decision to leave him out today. And we still don't know the full context to that decision. Only that Ten Hag said that he had broken, in quotes, our rules. Well, he might just have broken Wolverhampton Wanderers' hearts now, because this for quite a while has looked like a one-goal game, and Marcus Rashford has scored the first goal of it. Traore, Johnny with a return ball, edge of the penalty area, but Malacia is there, and Manchester United will defend their lead now with ever more appetite. And Rashford spoons it forward towards Bruno Fernandes, and here they come on the break, but he can't find Martial. They scored the first goal in 14 games this season, Manchester United. They have won all of the first 13. Podence coming forward for Wolves, who did come from behind at Everton on Boxing Day. Came from behind for the first time to win in those circumstances in over a year. But these are the Premier League's lowest goal scorers. And a team that failed to score in half of its Premier League games this season has now got to find a goal just to find a point. Raul Jimenez is about to come off the bench for Wolverhampton Wanderers.
Just looking at the replay there, Clive, of the goal, and Johnny, I don't know what he's doing, Shane. Rashford inside on his favoured foot. And from that moment on, there was a big problem at the heart of their defence.
Yeah, the 1-2 with Bruno Fernandes unhinged the Wolves' defence, but he didn't break them. They still had plenty of numbers between Marcus Rashford and his target, but he pretty much ran past a couple of challenges and then fired it right-footed low into the corner. Rashford playing a pass in field to Martial. It's been a workmanlike Manchester United performance for the most part. They've carried the bigger threat, although here's Ait Nouri coming forward again for Wolves after a fabulous pass from Nunez. Still Ait Nouri trying to feed Wang inside the penalty area. Malacia comes between them, and Casemiro plays it out of harm's way. Down goes Fred under pressure from Ruben Neves, and a relieving free kick for Manchester United. Well, here comes Raul Jimenez in place of Daniel Podence. Jimenez, who had 60 minutes and 3 substitute appearances for Mexico in Qatar, then 25 minutes against Gillingham in a cup tie last week. He hasn't played 90 minutes in any football match for club or country since August. He had a groin injury before the World Cup. His career has been littered with injuries in the 2 years since that awful coming together with David Luiz at Arsenal. He's 31 years of age now. The talk is that this may be his last few weeks with the club, that he may move on during January. But Jimenez is on there now, and so too is Donny van der Beek, who takes over from Anthony Martial. I mean, Jimenez has given this club so much in the last few years, but you just wonder whether he's quite the player that he was before the injury, Stuart.
Well, to be honest with you, Clive, he can't be, because, you know, Chan has been playing up front for the bulk of this second half, and I think he's been awful, to be fair. And for them not to bring Jimenez on until this moment in the 81st minute.
Forward comes Ruben Neves. 1-0 Manchester United lead. Johnny on the ball for Wolves, halfway line. Play back to Nathan Collins. Just clips it forward towards Adama Traore. Malacia volleys it out of play. Wolves have a throw in midway through the Manchester United half, but not much time. 9 minutes left to play, live on Talksport. Manchester United looking for a victory which will move them, however, temporarily up into 4th place in the table. Raul Jimenez coming forward for Wolves down the right-hand side. Shaw comes across, recovers. He's had another good game at centre-back today, Luke Shaw, hasn't he?
He's out-thought the players he's been up against. He's jumped in front of them to nick the ball in front of him. He's just much more intelligent than Chan, who he's been playing up against. Can't quantify against, obviously, Jimenez. He's just come on, but he's been too intelligent for the players and just read the game much better.
I remember him playing as a left centre-back in a couple of Champions League games a couple of years ago, and that's a role you know very, very well indeed, but it's much different for a full-back operating as a centre-back in a back four, and Shaw has done that very well, both against Nottingham Forest on Tuesday and again here today.
Yeah, he certainly has. As I say, an intelligent player and comfortable with the ball at his feet.
And let's not forget Lindelof and Maguire are both on the Manchester United bench today, but Shaw has been chosen alongside Varane. Again, Lisandro Martinez not involved at all today. He's not on the bench. He's still trying to get 1 or 2 bubbles out of his system, I suspect, as Kilman comes forward for Wolves. Clean challenge by Van der Beek, despite the disgust inside Molineux that the referee didn't blow his whistle. And Manchester United have it with Wan-Bissaka, and they have Wolves where they want them now. They can contain and break. Wolves, who did switch to a back three just before conceding the goal, and maybe not best equipped to go chasing the match now, as Anthony attacks them on the Manchester United right-hand side. Edge of the penalty area, Anthony trying to bamboozle Totti. Again, rather bamboozles himself. Comes back to Wan-Bissaka, edge of the penalty area, plays it in low, Rashford's there again! And he scored again! Marcus Rashford, 2 for Manchester United! He's come off the substitutes bench. He got a slice of luck with his second goal. But there's no arguing with the numbers that Marcus Rashford is clocking up this season. Goal after goal for club and country. And the 2 he scored here in the second half will take Manchester United into the top 4. Scored that one with his midriff.
Well, Sol's done really well. Once he's burst into the 6-yard box, Sol's come out, smothered the first shot, and unfortunately for him, it's bounced straight up into the stomach of Rashford. And,
it might just, if it is arm. Be interesting to see this. Yeah. I'm not sure this will stand. They were at close quarters, and Rashford tried to chip Sarr. He smothered it. The ball shot up against Rashford and went in. Yeah, it's going to be disallowed, this, because even though it was an accidental handball, it was the action that led directly to the goal. So it's only 1-0 and only 1 goal for Rashford. Correct?
Yes, correct decision. He certainly hit his hand before his midriff. And once again, you've got to say a good save, the initial one from the goalkeeper.
Yeah, the goalkeeper deserved that luck, because he did make a very good save indeed. But as the ball reared up off Jose Sarr, and Rashford was a foot away from him, nothing he could do about it. Certainly wasn't a deliberate handball, but even an accidental contact with hand or arm that leads directly to a goal must be punished. That's how the rules currently stand, and they're updated quite regularly these days. But that is the handball law, and so the goal was wiped out. And with 5 minutes to go, Wolves are still in this. It's just 1-0 to Manchester United. Kilman has the ball inside his own penalty area. Goes long down the centre of the field towards Jimenez. Floats over his head. Ken Shaw handled that so well.
Just his intelligence. He takes him and Jimenez under the ball and allows his defensive partner just to mop up any problems. Very clever play.
Nuri trying to get forward down the Wolves left calf. Wan-Bissaka plays it square to Fred. Casemiro. Good relieving pass to Tyrell Malacia. Now on the left-hand side, Bruno Fernandes does so well. Plays with the outside of his foot. An inviting ball for Rashford to run onto. Good pace, though, from Max Kilman, who got there ahead of Rashford and just shepherded it back to his goalkeeper. Mateus Nunes is on the ball for Wolverhampton Wanderers, chasing the game, a goal down. striding over the halfway line. Long strides. He's a tall man. His pass, though, is a poor one. Casemiro again mopping up for Manchester United. Bringing them forward, winning a free kick from Aït-Nouri. He's been round the block a time or two, Casemiro. He knows how to close a game down.
He certainly does, and you know and I know, Clive, that wasn't a foul. We just planted his feet and said, right, you keep running. I'm going to just stop here and have a lie down.
Well, I'm sure we'll find out exactly what went on between Erik ten Hag and Marcus Rashford before we go to bed tonight. Rashford left out of the starting 11 for internal disciplinary matter by maybe the most scary of all the men who's tried to step into Sir Alex Ferguson's shoes, although I think David Moyes will probably be pretty scary today. Jose on his sulkier days, but that stern face comes with a stern sense of discipline. He managed to stare out Cristiano Ronaldo, Ten Hag, and he took, I suppose, a bold move in leaving Rashford out of his starting 11 today, one of his hottest properties. Turned to him at half-time, and Rashford, it was, who scored the goal, which separates the teams. He's now going to be shown a yellow card for doing a little bit of impromptu refereeing, trying to force a Wolves free kick back and delay it. Yellow card for Rashford. Free kick for Wolves is on the halfway line. It will be taken by Ruben Neves. Manchester United have got a high line here, a good 10 paces outside of the penalty area. Neves floats it to the edge of the box. It's one in the air by Casemiro. Forced out of play for a throw-in to Wolverhampton Wanderers. Totti takes it. Aït-Nouri is forced back. Mateus Nunes comes square. Ruben Neves edge of the centre circle. Johnny now trying to step forward past Bruno Fernandes. Adama Traore, who started brightly this second half but has been muted since then, slips the ball into Jimenez. A return pass isn't good enough, and Manchester United have it back with Tyrone Lassia. Long clearance downfield towards Rashford. Mateus Nunes is covering. Good headed pass from him to Totti Gomez. Midway through the Manchester United half, left-hand side. Pass isn't accurate. Picked off by Eriksson, and now Van der Beek, and Manchester United have got a 3-on-2 break here. Van der Beek feeds Bruno Fernandes, edge of the penalty area. Fernandes goes for goal, and Jose Sá makes a pretty easy save. Should maybe have made more of that. Ruben Neves up towards Hwang. Towards Jimenez, cut out by Fred. Malacia forward. Casemiro first to it again. It's found Van der Beek on the left-hand side, just outside the penalty area. Rashford with a dummy. Bruno Fernandes back to him. Rashford there once more. Good work by Mateus Nunes, helping out defensively. But Van der Beek has won it back from Collins. Inside the Wolves penalty area. Try to thread it back towards Anthony, but Wolves won it back, and then Malacia went in with a dangerous sliding challenge. Free kick to Wolves. Still in this game, 1-0 down. Rashford's goal. Just in a little bit too much of a hurry to get on with it. Game has become chaotic as we go into the last of the 90 minutes. There'll be some stoppage time though, Stuart.
Yeah, there will be. As you say, it looks pretty chaotic at the moment. It looks as though any team could score. United, instead of killing the game, they're trying to get another goal.
Julian Lopetegui doing a good Basil Fawlty impression on the touchline, dancing about, waving his arms. 5 added minutes coming. That's how far away Manchester United are from a third successive victory since the World Cup break. A victory which would take them up to within a point of Newcastle United in 4th place in the Premier League table. Manchester City, Newcastle and Arsenal still to play today. Manchester City versus Everton is live on Talksport from 3 o'clock. Join Adrian for that one. Johnny has the ball for Wolves. Played square to Adama Traore, just outside the penalty area. Ran into traffic though. One back by Jimenez briefly, but Manchester United can break again. Van der Beek. It's a poor ball towards Rashford. They're at odds over what he should have done. Wolves have got it back. Totti Gomez. Midway through the Manchester United half of the field. Ryan Aït-Nouri takes over. Totti again. Crossed in from that right-hand side. Header away is by Luke Shaw. Johnny on the ball for Wolves in a crossing position. Onto his left foot. Angled in towards the heads, and Jimenez got to it and angled it just over the crossbar. Collins was coming in behind him. Might have been a better place. It deflected off a Manchester United head. It's a corner.
Yeah, Luke Shaw debating the fact whether it did come off a United head, but the referee's given a corner.
Substitution for
Manchester United are bringing on Anthony Elanga and Harry Maguire for these closing moments. Off will go Anthony and Bruno Fernandes. And Maguire wants to get on in order to take up station to help to defend this corner. He's trying to encourage Fernandes to leave the field quickly. I don't think he's going to encourage Anthony to do that. He's taking his own good time. I mean, play can't really restart until he's left the field, but Maguire wants to get in position. He's got the captain's armband back. It's debatable as to whether this should be a corner. I think the suggestion for the replays is that it hit Nathan Collins last. So there'll be a big argument if Wolves do equalise. But they do have this corner on the left-hand side. Ryan Aït-Nouri will take it. Left-footed. Header away is by Varane. As far as Ruben Neves. Played back out towards Aït-Nouri. Edge of the penalty area now. He's got inside the box. He's forced another corner. A bona fide one this time off Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Late Wolves pressure. 3 of the 5 added minutes have been played. Still Wolves 0, Manchester United 1. Aït-Nouri takes it. In towards Jimenez. Really good save by De Gea. And jabbed away by Harry Maguire for another corner. There are appeals for handball here. Big appeals.
Yeah, if there was any handball at all, it was the goalkeeper. It was an absolute top-class save. Straight at him, to be fair. He's done well to deal with that. No handball for me after that. And Harry Maguire, fortunate in hacking it away to safety, nearly put it in his own net.
It was Maguire they were appealing for handball against too. But instead it's a Wolves corner on the right-hand side. Left-footed Aït-Nouri will take it. Swung towards the far post this time. And it's Harry Maguire who wins it in the air, not once but twice, and clears his lines. Only as far as Neves. Played back by Johnny. Mateus Nunes. In the end, he just has to swing it forward towards the head of Totti. Into the penalty area. Varane defends it well initially. Totti is there again. Jumping with Wan-Bissaka. Ball spinning around. Jimenez edge of the penalty area. Free kick Manchester United. Big decision that by Robert Jones.
Wolves feel as though 1 or 2 decisions haven't gone their way on these 50-50 calls.
Well, that was a big one, just because of the circumstances. Manchester United inside of a 5th successive win either side of the World Cup. They have won 7 of their last 8 games. They're about to make that 8 out of 9. About to go 4th in the Premier League table. Because the stoppage time is almost up. This is added time to the added time. And De Gea takes a long free kick down the field. Fred to Wan-Bissaka to Elanga on the left-hand side. But they couldn't control it. The Wolves have got it back. The referee looking at his whistle. Manchester United win a game. Manchester United go 4th in the Premier League table. Erik ten Hag took a big decision today. A decision to leave in-form Marcus Rashford out of his starting 11 for disciplinary reasons. He kept him in reserve just in case he needed him, and he did need him. And Rashford came from the bench at half-time. And Rashford it was who scored the only goal of the game, which keeps Manchester United's momentum and keeps them on course for a return to the Champions League. There'll be a lot of discussion about the whys and wherefores of the decision to discipline Rashford, and maybe even whether, if you're going to punish him, you leave him out altogether. Well, he didn't, and Rashford had the final say today. If he was sorry for his actions, whatever they were, He's gone about apologising in the very best possible way by scoring the only goal of the day in the first of our 2 live commentaries on Talksport. Wolverhampton Wanderers 0, Manchester United 1.
Clive Tilsley, thank you very much indeed. The United players are heading over to the away fans who are singing loud and proud. But the Wolves fans are pretty happy as well with what they saw out today. They threw everything into those last few minutes, certainly. And Manchester United get that victory. It's a huge victory for them, but Wolves certainly showing some positive signs under the new boss, Julian Lopetegui. Plenty of players still out onto the pitch. A few are heading back into the tunnel. But it's been a really interesting battle out here at Molineux. Stuart Pearce, I mean, let's talk about Marcus Rashford first. I mean, that's how you tell your boss, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but I'm here for you.
Well, it's the only thing that counts when you get on the pitch to have an impact in the game. And if we're talking about impact, certainly scoring the goal, both teams found it very, very difficult to break the opposition down. But he was the one that come off the bench, as players often do now, have to come off the bench. And the strength in depth probably just showed from Manchester's point of view.
Yeah, between both sides. It's interesting. I mean, Wolves started the second half on the front foot as well. The introduction of Adama Traore definitely made a difference and shook things up. In the end, United, you'd have to say they were sort of holding on to it. Wolves rarely looked a huge threat in front of goal, but a big save from David De Gea right at the end.
I was very unconvinced with Manchester United's performance today. I've got to say, I think it was okay. I think there was a couple of good performances. De Gea, when needed, done his part and made a couple of good saves, one from the free kick from Neves. Shaw and Varane were solid at the back, without a doubt. Up front, I was really disappointed. I can't remember anything good that Martial done. Anthony, well, incredible. You know, if you play for a top side, you can't give the ball away as readily as he did today. And they had to draw from the bench, but they've got a lot of outstanding talent that can come off the bench and do particularly well.
Yeah, what about Wolves then? I mean, Lopetegui is someone who's so animated on the touchline. I've seen him when he was in charge of Real Madrid. All he'd do is shout and give out orders. And I just remember people like Sergio Ramos just ignoring him and not even looking in his direction. But he certainly, you know, lives every single second of the game. Even to the last moment, he was very, very angry at the final whistle, you know, hoping that Wolves could have got something out of it. But can you see a slight imprint from him already? Can you see plenty to come from this side?
Listen, I think the defeat was harsh on them. I've got to say, I think the defeat was harsh on them. I think Sarr in goal for Wolves, saying that was one of their best players. I think Kilman played very well as well. I think the pair of them were probably arguably Wolves' best too. But at the front end of the team, there was lacking punch, really. Shane, I was really disappointed in him. Costa went off at half-time. Jimenez come on, lacking impact a little bit. And that is their Achilles heel, 10 goals after 16, 17 games.
Yeah, OK. Here on Talksport, it is time for us to pick our man of the match with Car Finance 24/7 now.
Man of the match on Talksport with Car Finance 24/7. Get your finance sorted first, then choose your car. Search Car Finance 24/7 today.
Who are you going with, Stuart Pearce?
Well, I'm sort of drawn between, I think Shaw done really well for United, I've got to say, but I'll probably go for Sarr, the Wolverhampton goalkeeper, who makes some really, really good saves, I thought. Even the second save from Rashford that was disallowed, he made a good initial first save, and there was probably 3 or 4 saves that he made that managed to keep Wolverhampton in the game at least until late on before Rashford scored.
It's not often that you'd pick a man of the match from the losing team, is it? But that just shows how just shows the performance that Sarr put in today.
Yeah,
and how much he was tested.
Without a doubt. And I think Kilman weren't far behind him in the Wolverhampton ranks as well. So it was a game of very few chances. A game where, you know, certainly you would say defenders were on top. I was impressed once again at Shaw at the heart of the back line for United. I thought he'd done really well, outthought the opposition more than anything else. But I think Sarr consistently over 90 minutes has caught my eye.
OK, that was our man of the match from today's game with Car Finance 24/7. Search Car Finance 24/7 today.